normal life, and then I got smoking pot and stuff, which got caught back here at the ag building by Mr. Smith. He walked me out the front door in handcuffs out here. And halfway through 11th grade, I quit. You know, I was hanging out with my friends. They still went to school. You know, doing the drinking, the partying. Well, everybody else quit and went to school. Went on to college. I did.
And tell them we're busy.
And it was just all, you know, fun and games, which you should still have fun and enjoy life. But that was what I did. Well, everybody went to college, doing their thing, going to work. I did. Hanging out with older people, which ain't their fault. That's all my decisions, you know. And then it just led to other things. You know, by the time I was 20, I was in deep, which y'all know, y'all seen. I was in deep. My decisions just kept on getting worse. Should listen to my daddy. Should listen to all y'all.
Tell them, don't sugarcoat anything, Jake. They like for people to say the real stuff to them. Whatever. When you say I'm in deep, what do you mean?
Well, went from smoking pot to taking pills, drinking. Then I got on the meth, and boy, you talking about a different story. And to turn you from somebody, or from my family's great, and I stole from so many of them. My granddaddy, both my granddaddies, wouldn't steal nothing now. You know what I mean? But just I had to get that itch, and it got me, and it turned to a point that, you know, my dad is one that never. I'm 34 now. He'd do anything for me now, but he basically told me, said, "Son, you can't stay here." And it got deep, and that went on for about 5-6 years. About 7 years, I got the same truck now, a white one. I was sleeping in it. I pull up here, it was $1.50 worth of money, get some gas, I'll ride and pulling this back field over here at my granny's, and I sleep in my truck for about 6 months. Well, I got tied up with some people that I owed a little bit of money to, and one of my granddaddies lived right over here. Was a great man, Chris, man, give me anything. Well, I started stealing checks from him to pay them people, and they found out about it. Well, I pulled up like nothing was happening, you know. He said, "Son, we found out that you got stole checks from us." Boy, my heart sank, and I was at the rock bottom, man. I ain't been out of high school 6 years, you know what I mean? I went from going to school, hang out with my buddies, to I'm fixing to have 9 felonies and 9 misdemeanors up against me. And he said, "We're going to press charges on you." He says, "Not because we don't love you, it's because you're going to die." And the shape that my mom was in, my mom was 50-something year old now. She was in it. She left, came back a drug counselor, and got her again. And now she lives in Huntsville in a homeless shelter. On her spare time, she hangs out in the storage building and watches YouTube in a recliner. That's what she does with her life. That's what she chooses to do with her life now. But she found God that way. She watched a bunch of God things, and just up there where she's at. Well, anyways, that happened. You know, Daddy called me and said the law was looking for me. Anyways, they caught me up here at DFM, and the guy that caught me, real friendly guy, sheriff, I can't remember his name now, but put me in the back of the police car. He was a preacher, and he gave me a Bible. Took me to jail.
In the police car he gave you?
Well, he took me up here to the county. He got out and said he was a preacher and gave me a Bible. I had a stack of them. Oh. He'd handed out, you know, they had to do a thing. They'd send it to us. I still got it home.
Oh.
And I got went to jail, and the guy was there with me. He was big on reading the Bible. And, you know, let me back up a little bit. When I was using, I would pray every day, "Lord, thank you for another day. Let me have a good day." What I really meant, let me get my drug of choice and have a good day and have a good time.
Yeah.
Well, before they arrested me, somebody took me to turn me in. Well, we got into an argument, and they dropped me off over at Faculty Texaco, and I walked the highway at 2 o'clock in the morning, all the way down Highway 72, back over across the track, and I cried. Oh, let it in, let it in, let it in, let it in. The very next day, I got arrested by a preacher.
Oh my goodness.
And when I hit that jail bed, I knew it was time for a break. I needed something. When you go to jail and you lay down, it's a relief. You know what I mean?
Wow.
It was, I don't feel bad as always.
Yeah.
But up there, and I went through the rehab, the drug court program with Judge Graham. went through all that and got clean. That was almost 10 years ago. But
Yes.
it could happen to you so easy. I mean, there's a kid that was in my grade. I ain't gonna say no name, it's a small town, but never did quit. Here a couple months ago, he got arrested and he's been going to penitentiary for a long time. That chief up there went down the same road and got clean too.
Yeah.
And also are most likely to succeed of my class that's sitting in the penitentiary right now.
Oh my God.
It could have happened to the straight A students or the C or the D students. It don't discriminate at all.
That's right.
The devil don't care what walk of life you come from.
Mm-hmm.
He'll hit you in every direction.
But you know, when I did get clean, the guy that arrested me over there, I was in on pass, and I was able to take him to the hearse, take him funeral home, be a pallbearer, say the prayer for the family. But our granddaddy, I did not. Pop Smith was one of the best granddaddies you could have, and I done things towards him, stealing from him, you know, getting that fixed. He passed away and I was in rehab, but he was my great grandfather, so that was not allowed. I could not leave. Well, he's in the hospital, but he told me he wanted to call Jake. He'll come get me out of here. Call Jake. He'll come get me out of here. You know how he carry him.
Yes.
He never knew. I mean, the regrets and the time I miss now, which I hope all y'all go to college and make millions and millions of dollars. But there's some people at my work at USG is straight out of high school that's making great money and making great decisions, and they got the nicest trucks and they get in their houses and doing that. I was set back for a long time. I would sit over there at Horizons and see some of my best friends roll up in these nice trucks. Hey, what's going on, man? Knowing I had a drug addiction, truck was about to get, you know, it was just, it may sound fun, it may just be there and sound like the right thing, but I'm gonna tell you to grab you. It'll grab you, it grab men, it grab women, it does not matter. And like I said, the most likely to succeed was just in school, was just straight A's. I mean everything, the beta clubs, the books, the pictures, everything. And her life is just, it's crushed now. It's crushed because of it. Like I say, it could happen to anybody. I mean, we can sit here and talk all day about things that's done, decisions you made, and it'll change you. And one thing I look back on now, the family, especially I talk about my daddy. He's the hurt I put him through. He loves me, and he watched me. He went to watch me through football, baseball, North Jackson, all this stuff, and then he watched me. And he done seen it. My mama went through it too. My brother went through it too. And he was watching me, and there ain't but nothing he could do. Man, I was hateful. I was short. He knew it. He knew it. But I got this was my thing. I got this. I got this. I know I'm doing it. I didn't. And most people don't make it out. Well, they say 2%. Ain't that tattoo everybody gets 2% of the people? And so many people has passed away. The friends that I made in rehab, in the halfway house, it's like every year there's another one.
I can name 10 students that I've lost from North Sun Mountain from fentanyl overdose.
Yeah.
Accidental.
And
6 of them I know personally.
yeah. And
Walk the halls with them every day.
it's changed. The drug out here today has changed. They'll kill you quicker than, you know, they was bad then, but now they one hit. It may be your first try and it just knock you. It kill you.
Our first day, teacher work day, y'all, this year of professional development, we came back after the summer, we had to talk about vapes, and now that like even on the outside of them, that sometimes they can pick them up and they'll have fentanyl on the outside, and like sheriff's deputies and stuff were even passing out and having to be Narcan, and they gave us free boxes of Narcan that day, and I thought, holy macaroni, I'm in a different world of teaching than I was before, that they're giving out Narcan at professional development.
And saying all this, I ain't saying I'm perfect. Jake Davis is far from perfect. You know, and I hate to say I made it out, because it could bite you in the butt quick, can't it?
It can.
Quick, but you know you still see it every day. I mean, with young people, old people, and like I said, my mama's, I say she's 60, early 60s maybe, and she's still paying for what she done. You know, like I say, she got into it when I was young, 9, 10, 11 there, and came back when I was close to 20. A drug counselor kicked it. Drug counselor was teaching people to get clean, and then bam. And she's worse now than she's ever been. I mean, she's found God, but
It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But tell them about your life now.
I got a good life. I got a beautiful wife, 5 youngins, good
5,
job.
1, 2, 3,
Oh.
4, 5.
Yeah.
How old are you, Jake?
34.
You got 5.
Gotta work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a good job. I work with her husband. Went from, in 10 years, it ain't here about what, 10 years went from being homeless to owning a house with 5 kids and a good job.
Amen. That's what God can do.
But
Praise
man,
God.
if I would have started when I graduated high school, think what 20 years would have done. You know what I mean? The house been paid for. It's make
He'd
good,
have 10 kids.
make good decisions. Make good decisions. And like I said, that one kid I went to school with was my best friend in high school. We was inseparable, and he just went to penitentiary. And one of the hardest things to come back clean. I love him to death. I love him this day. I hug his neck. I love him, but we just can't. It'll hurt watching your friend go downhill and say no, but it's better to go down with them.
Yep.
And who you hang out with is a big deal in
It's
it.
a big deal.
Yeah,
It's one of the biggest things.
yeah, but it's your choice to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's your choice to do it. I'm recording at you.
My name's Tyson. Both of these wonderful ladies were my teachers from 9th grade up until I graduated. Thankfully, I graduated. Took 2 years of summer school, but I done it. It's funny that we're all sitting here, us 4, because knowing them when I was in high school, I didn't know Jake. Never met Jake in my life. Funny story, the way I met Jake, I was working with your husband and Jake at USG, and I'd walked in a room, we were having a meeting, and he was wearing the same hat another guy was wearing, and I walked up behind him and I smacked him in the back of the head because I thought he was a guy I knew, and he turned around and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, I did not know that was, I thought it was somebody else, and he kind of laughed, and ever since then, me and Jake's been pretty tight. We sat down and talked about, being clean and going through an addiction and everything, but that's how we all became friends. But I'll start my story from when I was young. I was raised Pentecostal. I was in church up until I was probably 7, 8 years old, and my parents went through a divorce when I was young, and we got out of church. We were moving from place to place, and at the time I was still a good kid, had good grades, wanted to exceed in school and play sports and stuff. Also, I wrote in here, my story might be a little bit harsher than Jake's because I'm going to give full detail because
Yeah, tell it. They like to hear it.
I'm going to tell the truth because the truth is what's going to save a lot of people.
That's right.
But anyway, I was doing great in school, all the way up till probably 5th, 6th grade. When I was 13, I lost my oldest brother in a motorcycle wreck. I was at a friend's house riding dirt bikes and stuff. My brother was supposed to come get me that morning because that evening we were all going to go fishing as a family or whatever. And I decided to stay that day, so my mom came and got me that evening rather than my brother coming and get me. So we're back there fishing, and we hear a wreck up the road from my parents' house. And my aunt and my great-grandmother all lived side by side right there where we were fishing. And we heard it, and we took off up there, and we met my cousin halfway. And I'll never forget, he said, "It's a motorcycle, I don't know if it's Robert." So when we get up to the road, I still can hear my mama scream when she seen her firstborn laying on the side of the road dead. And that took a toll on me because for years and years I blamed myself for that. Because I told myself, the devil let me get in my own head and said that if he would have just come got me that morning, he wouldn't have been on that motorcycle. So for years I carried that with me. And y'all bear with me, I will get emotional.
That's all.
For years I carried that. And I started like Jake, smoking weed with some people, taking pills, drinking, and I was 13 years old. Every weekend I was getting high, I was getting drunk. One of my friend's mom was rolling blunts for us at 13 years old. And I carried on, you know, throughout my life all the way up until I want to say it was my sophomore year in high school. And my friends were using meth. So I thought, you know, there's something else I can get high with. Because this whole time I'm dealing with stuff from my childhood, losing my brother and my parents. Obviously, my parents got remarried later on, not too long before my brother died. They're doing great, but I carried that with me. It was a huge weight that I blamed myself for. And once I started doing those things and making all those decisions, it was like the further I went, the more the enemy would tell me, you're not good enough. Keep doing what you're doing. It's getting you through. You know, this is the only way you can deal with this pain and this hurt and this guilt and this shame. So I listened to him. You know, a lot of times we listen to that bad thought in our head more than we listen to God telling us,
That's right.
come to me.
Yeah.
Because that's where all my strength comes from, is God. And so all through high school, I'm using drugs. I always swore to myself I would never, you know, I see all these junkies on TV and people shooting up and all this stuff and stealing from their family. I was like, that'll never be me. I'll never do that. I'm just having fun. You know, I'm just one of those kids. Had a lot of friends in high school. Always, you know, was fun to be around. I was like, I'll never stoop that low. That'll never be me. I want to say my senior year, probably. It's probably when I had it the worst. This woman held me together more times than I can count, breaking down in her classroom because I picked up a needle my senior year in high school. I was injecting methamphetamine every day when I was a senior in high school. So I make it through school somehow, graduate. I don't really care where I'm going with my life, you know. It's getting high, flying by the seat of my pants. That was all that mattered to me. Me and 5 or 6 of my other friends, 2 of them's dead now, Tyler and Stivers. We all lived together, selling drugs out of a house. There was no adults, we didn't listen to anybody, you know, because we thought we knew everything. We was selling drugs, we was getting high every day.
Remember some of those pictures that I showed y'all of the jail and the people getting baptized? That's some of the people that Tyson I know.
Jared, Cole Baker, he's my cousin. So I've seen it, you know, I've seen it all. So when I got out of school, me and all my friends were living together. I'm probably 19, 20 at the time, somewhere around there. Like I said, I'm using a needle every day. Any kind of drug I can get my hands on, I'm doing it. Everything. Didn't care what it was. I was the one that done it all. I wanted to be the highest. I wanted to be most faded, whatever y'all kids say nowadays. That was a goal of mine. I was going to be the one that could get the highest and still, you know, maintain. What a good goal to have. So fast forward to 21. I'm in a house with a whole bunch of drug addicts, and the DeKalb County Drug Task Force kicks the door in, and me being, you know, spun out and high as I was, I fought them, and they beat the soup out of me. Wow! I got the snot beat out of me. I took an AR-14 barrel to the forehead.
County Task Force.
And they beat me up pretty good. I deserved it. I fought them. So I get locked up, and kind of similar story to Jake's. I meet some guys in there that are talking about God. Of course, I knew God. I was raised in church, you know, but I never really rooted myself in God. God was like Jake said, is an insurance card for me. God, if you get me out of this, I swear I'll never do it again.
You can hurt yourself.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many nights I laid drunk in a field somewhere, puking my guts up. God, if you'll just let me get through this, I'll never drink another day. Yeah. You know, lied to God every day about that. But these inmates were talking about God and stuff, and, you know, I felt conviction. So I thought, I'm going to get out, and I'm going to do right and do what I need to do. That didn't happen. I get out, I'm 4 weeks clean. I don't want to be clean no more. You know, it ain't worth it. I've lost everything I had. Never had nothing to begin with. Why would I try to change it now? You know, everything's been going all right up to this point, or so I thought. So I go on the run for 9 months. I'm in Dade County, Georgia at the time. I got 2 needles in my back pocket. And when the sheriff pulls up on me, he says he got warrants for me. So at the time, I hear a voice in my head. God's telling me, be still. I run all my life. Anytime I seen blue lights, if I thought police was coming, I run. It didn't matter the situation, I run. I run from them that morning. But God told me to be still, and he was going to take care of it. So I did. Laid down on my face. When they went to search me, I'd forgot about the needles in my back pocket. And the officer pulled them out, and he was like, you know, what's this? I was like, man, I'm sorry, I forgot. So we get down to the jail in Dade County, and they take me in, and he told the jailer, he's like, hey, he's got 2 needles in his back pocket. Which I remember the officer taking them off of me. What he done with them after that, I don't know, because they were going to charge me with them. They disappeared. They were gone. Dade County couldn't charge me with anything. They looked and looked and looked. I don't want to say I don't know. I know what God happened. God saved me from catching charges and going to prison in Dade County. So then I sat in there for about 2 weeks waiting on DeKalb County to come get me. DeKalb County comes and gets me. I sat in there for 3 months. And at this point is when I meet my wife now. We had dated before. It's a funny story. But she had contacted my mom and got a hold of me. And, you know, from the time I got arrested, God was telling me, I'm doing something in your life. I'm doing something. Just be still. I'm doing something in your life. So when me and Caitlin got together, I went to rehab, come home. Everything was great. I started going back to church with my mom, but I let the devil sneak in my head again. So this is 2017. I got clean and got a tattoo on me. 8/9/17 was the day I got clean. And I went to church. You know, I gave my life back to God, got baptized, and then I thought, you know, I've been clean for, fast forward to 2021, 22, I start working at USG, meet Jake. I tell myself, I get out of church, I'm like, man, I've been clean long enough, I can have a beer. You know, I'm okay. Just have a few beers, whatever, watch football. I'm a grown man, you know. My problem was meth, that was my addiction. So that, you know, I drink beer every now and then, every other weekend, and then it got to liquor. It's like, all right, you know, a couple shots every now and then. I could have a drink or two, watching the ball games and, you know, with my friends. And that's that lie that devil will tell you. It's just a little bit's all right. It'll be all right. And then fast forward to 2024. Right, we're in 25 now, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's been so long.
No, I
January the 7th, 2024, I relapsed on crystal meth. And again, the devil was still telling me, just a little bit ain't gonna hurt. So I thought, you know what, I'm not shooting up, I'm not on the needle, I'm okay. I can handle this. Mind you, my wife's 3 months pregnant now at the time. So I'm gonna be a dad, and that scares the crap out of me. All the mistakes that I've made in my entire life, everything that I've done, I thought, I can't raise a kid. Me raising a kid? So I let that get to me, you know? And nobody had a hand in my life choices other than me. It doesn't matter if there was a friend standing there trying to hand it to me, whatever it may be, it was my choice. I messed up, I made those decisions. So I live with that. But I start using again in January. Rock's home probably 3-4 months. My daughter's born in May, and when she was born, I quit for a month. I was able to stop, and I thought, okay, I am fine, you know. I got clean for that month, went back to work. Like I said, it's no excuse, but friends were there. that we're using, and here I go, right back down the hill. The first thing I done was find a needle, and I go head first right back into everything that I got out of. Got to the point to where I'd attempted suicide in the past. Nothing really of any substance. It was like, those little thoughts in your head that make you want to, end your life because you can't do something. But this time was different. I had a wife, I had a kid, and I was doing both of them wrong, and my parents. And so I was sitting in my garage one night. I think this was in March of last year. No, was that this year? It was March of this year, because I got clean in March 28th of this year is my clean date. I was sitting in my garage, and warning, this is graphic. I had wrote goodbye letters to my daughter and my wife. I had my gun, and I turned the safety off. I stuck it to my head, and this was at 3 a.m. My wife's dead asleep. My parents had my baby that night, and I was done. I was ending my life. And as I squeezed the trigger, my garage door opened. Now, mind you, I'd locked every door in my garage, both bay doors and the side door. I texted one of my friends and told him where my body was, so that he would come get me before Caitlin did. But as I was squeezing that trigger, the garage door opened, and Caitlin's standing there in front of me. So the gun doesn't go off. I put it down. Obviously, we argue and whatnot, and I go to rehab because I knew if I didn't, I was going to end up killing myself because I was so far gone. I was seeing things that weren't real. I was believing things that weren't real. I had demons in my face telling me that Satan was stealing my joy and that there was no hope for me. I was done. And I believed that. Ended up going to rehab in New Jersey through April. I come back home and I'm still feeling depressed, still sad. I'm still carrying this guilt and this shame that everything I've done can't be fixed. I'm so broken that I can't be fixed. But I go back to church and I truly surrender to God this time, and He's blessed me more than I can imagine. I left USG. I started a roofing job, which I work for a different company now. I got a sales manager position there. So just everything that's happened to me from the time that I give my life back to God and truly surrendered to His will, everything is going up for me. But I say all that to say this: if you're gonna make mistakes in life, we all do. It's part of life. We're human. We're flesh. But as long as you call on God, no matter good times, bad, He's not gonna let you down. If He can save a sinner like me from every life choice that I ever made, I was killing myself that day. That was it. I was done. And He saved me for this reason.
Yes, that's right, baby.
To be able to help somebody else who might be feeling the same way. No matter whether it be drugs, depression, anxiety. Yeah. I'm sure somebody in this room deals with depression or anxiety. Am I wrong?
Absolutely.
Somebody in this room does. If you'll call on God, I promise you, He's going to lead you through that. I want to share a Bible verse with them. Isaiah 43:2 says, "When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee." No matter what I've done, the drugs I've done, the alcohol, the pills, the bad choices, the lying, the stealing, the hurting people, God never let that flame kindle on me. God never let that wave rock me enough, because to the point that I was sitting there in my garage fixing to take my own life, God stepped in like that.
Yeah.
Because we all have a purpose.
Right.
Everybody sitting in this room has a purpose. Whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe that you're worth it, you've got a purpose. And our purpose is to help other people.
Yes.
Show them that picture. the two pictures